Hello, all of you beautiful people. How are you doing today? I'm doing great. Yes, I'm mass producing videos again, so I'm going to look the same in all the videos. Okay, so this video is going to be on supplementation, okay? And I'm not going to give you 6,000 list of supplementation like I did with... It's my hubby. My hubby's listening to music. Do you guys know that song, Sex on Fire? He was listening to that CD and he texted me, so I'm missing you, I'm thinking of you while I'm listening to the song. So, anyway, I'll text him back later. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk to you about, so I'm not going to list off 600 supplementations, 600 supplements for you because that's going to be crazy. I'm just going to give you options because not everybody has to go on all the supplements that I give you. I'm just going to tell you which supplements actually work for what, okay? And the most important and first thing I know, I'm going to deal with my injury supplements, all right? But the first thing I'm going to deal with is something to do with depression. Because ever since Johan and I have done the hormone videos, everybody's waiting for the depression videos and blah, blah, blah. So there is obviously a higher population of people that are depressed that never talk about it, okay? There's a lot more people that's depressed that's not necessarily on medication, that's not necessarily even... admitting to the fact that they're depressed, okay? But with today's lifestyle and today's... My husband's sexting me. Woo! Hot, hot. Okay, so with supplements, okay, I want to tell you about one thing, okay? For those people of you are not on medication, on antidepressants, okay? I don't know if you guys have ever experienced an anxiety or panic attack, okay? I've had them, Johan's had them. They started a couple of years ago for us. I don't know if it's an age thing. I don't know if it's a stress thing. I swear to God, I think the older you get, the less you can cope with stress. You know, it's like your adrenals are getting worn out. Because, you know, when you're in a stressful situation, your body, you go into flight or fight mode. Oh, my husband's naughty and cute. Okay, so you get in a stressful situation, your body goes into flight or fight mode because your body gets adrenaline. There's a release of adrenaline which is in your body. So if you run on adrenaline all the time, it gives you energy, right? It makes you antsy and stuff like that. And you can run on it for short periods of time. But if you run on adrenaline for a very long period of time, eventually your body starts shutting down because you can't function properly anymore. Your brain shuts down, your body shuts down, and that's when depression sets in. Adrenaline is a good thing, but an overabundance of it and a constant, all the time, having adrenaline in your body is not good for your body, okay? Because I think we'll get Johan into explaining how the whole cortisol thing and the adrenaline and everything works together. However, for people who are on antidepressants, okay, this stuff, I don't know how much this is going to do for you. Because you know how you have receptors in your brain that gets stimulated or activated or something through certain things that you take or not take, or your body gives it to you and stuff like that, okay? Now, when your receptors are worn out from the medication that you're taking, chances are this is going to do absolutely nothing for you. For those people, however, who are not on antidepressants, and for those people who are planning on coming off of antidepressants, this is going to be a lifesaver for you. I'm just going to tell you what it is first. It's called L-theanine. This is what it looks like. Okay? You get it at any health food store. I doubt very much that it's going to be illegal in any damn country, okay? Because basically what it is green tea extract. So you take one little pill of this and it's like taking concentrated of 4 or 5 cups of green tea, okay? Very natural product. And people, it works like a bomb. I cannot tell you, I swear to God, when I get a panic attack, for any of those of you who are familiar with panic attacks, the first panic attack that I ever got, okay, I went to hospital. Because if you've never had a panic attack and you get your first panic attack, you have no idea what's going on because your body is reacting to this panic attack you're getting. There's stuff happening to your body. Now, if you are familiar with panic attacks and you know it comes, then you can kind of, you can calm yourself down by taking your brain and kind of working through it and go, because here's all the symptoms of a freaking panic attack. First of all, you can't breathe, okay? There is air around you, but your panic attack is making you feel restricted. The air is going in, you're not going to pass out, okay? But if you don't know that and all of a sudden you feel like you can't breathe, well, of course you're going to go to the fucking hospital, the hospital, because you think you're getting an asthma attack or something because you're breathing. You know, if you can calm down and go, okay, the air's coming in, I'm okay, I'm breathing, then it's okay. But if you don't know what the hell is going on and you can't breathe, people, there is nothing as horrible as you feel like you're going to suffocate because you're breathing and your panic attack's making you think that you can't breathe. So you're breathing very shallow. So you're kind of like panting, you know, and going, and you can't get the air in, and you're getting, what's the word, Benoit in English? Idiot box. I'll use the idiot box, okay? So that's the first thing that happened to you. The second thing is all your blood vessels constrict. So all of a sudden you start shaking and you're cold and you feel feverish at the same time because you can't figure out whether you're hot or cold. And what's happening is your heart rate gets elevated to a point where you literally feel like you're going to get a heart attack because it's so elevated and it gets so fast. I mean, you can't even get your heart that elevated, I think, by sprinting, okay? I think if I sprint and I get to the other side, you kind of get that feeling of I can't breathe and you can feel your heart palpitating and stuff like that. But a panic attack can last anything from friggin' a minute to 20 minutes, okay, people? It's the worst thing ever that you can experience, especially if you're on a damn highway. You do not want to be in a car driving and getting a panic attack. That is not fun. So the one thing that I found, because of course when you get panic attacks and stuff, you know, some of them last a very long time. You can logically, I mean, the moment you start getting a panic attack, you can logically speak to yourself and work through and calm your body down, but the panic attack's still there. The only thing is your logical mind is now telling you, okay, I can breathe, okay, there is air going into my body. My heart is not really racing. It's racing, but I'm not going to pass out. I'm not going to get a heart attack. You know that you're healthy. You're fine. Your heart is just, so you just have to know, okay, so I can feel my heart. So you kind of, you learn to work through it mentally and, you know, just cope with the damn thing until it's gone, okay? However, this has been a lifesaver for me because I tell you, first of all, if you can't sleep and you take 2 of these, you'll sleep. That 2 of these alongside of melatonin, which is another product that is absolutely wonderful. You know, I should have actually gotten that out of the cupboard and then kind of combined the 2. Okay, so melatonin is another thing that comes in your body naturally. But anyway, this is about L-theanine, okay? I find, I have this everywhere. I have this in my car. I have this in my handbag. I have this at home. You know, everywhere I go, I make sure I have theanine. Because I can tell you, living in freaking Atlanta and driving, I go on the highway, I mean, just the highway naturally to, you know, just to the closest store and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, 5 or 10 miles on the highway. That's perfectly fine. But if I actually have to go further than that and go on these freaking highways, it's guaranteed I'll get a panic attack. There's no 2 ways about it. So if I know I have to drive far, I'll take a theanine. And then when I go, you know, I can feel my heart racing, but it will be much less severe, okay? When it comes, I'm like, okay, I'm there, but it's going to be gone in a minute, you know. And if I do get a panic attack, in the beginning of that panic attack, I take this. I swear to God, it dissolves so quickly. It's like 3 minutes, and then the panic, you can feel this stuff like, I can feel the blood vessels and everything calming down. There is nothing natural that works as well as L-theanine. So now here's the problem. A lot of people that have talked to Johan and I about getting panic attacks and being on antidepressants and whatever, this stuff doesn't seem to work for them. And so we figured out why, okay? So those receptors that I talked to you guys about, okay, when you are on actual antidepressants, okay, which is the video that Johan and I will be making. I mean, we made, and remember when we did the hormone videos, we actually continued on and we finished the depression video, but you can also not hear Johan speaking because he doesn't speak as loudly as me. So I said to him, you know what, it's not worth it. The people were really struggling to hear you in the other 2 videos. We're going to have to redo the depression video, okay? But when he talks to you about those, he also talks about the antidepressant medication and stuff like that and all the side effects and how horrible it is for you. So if there's anybody that's planning on going off of the antidepressants, buy this and keep this freaking everywhere because this is going to save your life. Okay, so here is why this stuff does not work in conjunction with antidepressants, okay? Your receptors in your brain, okay, that this stuff works on to calm you down is so, what's the word I'm trying to say? Hello? What is that word? decent, like they're freaking idiot box. I'll use the idiot box again. Let's just choose a random word. They're worn out a little bit. Okay, so how can I explain this? I'm going to go into. Let's talk about. Okay, and this is addiction. Shoot, how am I going to do this without talking about that? Okay, so here's the thing. You know, everybody knows whether you've used drugs or not used drugs in your life. You know that it's widely known, okay, that a person who starts out with drugs don't go for the biggest dose, okay? You have to build up a tolerance against it, right? So say you smoke pot or you use crack, okay? I have no idea about drugs. I've never done drugs. My fear of, my psychological fear of puking has always prevented me from getting drunk or using drugs, because I'm not as scared of using the drugs or trying the drugs as the fact that I'm scared of having to come off the drugs and puke, okay? So I am more afraid of puking than of anything else. So my psychological fear of puking has prevented me my whole life to try anything that I think might make me puke. And we all know one of the side effects or one of the things of drug addicts when they get detox or whatever is they puke, okay? So my fear of having to puke when I get off of a drug has always, my whole life, prevented me from trying drugs. Okay, so there you go. Now you know what my psychological fear is. Okay, so everybody knows when you start drugs, you start with, say, a teaspoon. God knows, it's just right. I don't know. Okay, say a teaspoon of crack. Today I'm using a teaspoon of crack. I'm going to try a teaspoon of crack. Okay, your body gets used to the teaspoon of crack, so now your receptors have gotten used to that level. It needs that level of product to be happy. Okay. After a while, your receptors get desensitized, so it's not working anymore. So a teaspoon doesn't work. So now you have to have 2 teaspoons of crack. Okay. So say after 2 weeks, you have to have 2 teaspoons of crack. After 3 weeks, you have to have 3 teaspoons of crack. Okay. So in order for you to get the same level of satisfaction from the drugs you're using, you have to up it. Okay. It's like an alcoholic. They start out with, getting drunk from 1 glass of wine. Like if you continuously drink, I can talk to you about drinking a little bit. I've only been kind of drunk once in my life, and it was by pure accident, okay? And I've only ever once in my life took 2 drags of a marijuana thing, just because, and that was to an accident. If I had known, I would never have done that, okay? And it was not good, okay? So, with wine, for instance, okay, if Johan and I used to drink wine all the time. It's a South African thing. I mean, now that we're health conscious, we don't anymore. But if you're not used to alcohol, in the beginning, your receptors in your brain is very receptive to the alcohol. So at first, you drink a glass of wine. If you've never had any alcohol in your life, you drink a glass of wine and you get a little tipsy, okay? But if you drink a glass of wine every single night, your body gets desensitized, so you don't get the same satisfaction from that 1 glass. If your aim is to get drunk, obviously, right? So after 2 weeks, you need to do 2 glasses to get that same tipsy feeling and naughty feeling and whatever. And then eventually you drink a bottle of wine, okay? And a lot of people can drink a bottle of wine and never get it. I've never in my life ever been able to finish a bottle of wine, ever, okay? But I know there's people that do it. They can drink a whole bottle of wine. I mean, we visit with friends who drink on a regular basis, so they have no problem. We'll go out to dinner. Between say 4 of us, and Johan and I don't drink, they'll drink 2 bottles of red wine before they leave the restaurant and drive home. Okay? So they don't get drunk from 2 bottles of wine. She drinks a bottle of wine, he drinks a bottle of wine. They're used to it. So their receptors have been desensitized to the alcohol, okay? So the same thing happens when you're on antidepressants. The antidepressants that you're taking have worn out your receptors to the point where a mild little thing like this is going to do shit all, okay? So when you get off of antidepressant medication, chances are, because it takes a while, different antidepressant medications have different lifespans in your body, okay? Some of them you can't just go off of. Like, you'll go bloody crazy. You will get sick. It's a drug, okay? So you'll get sick. You can't just leave it. You have to be weaned off of the drug, okay? But for those of you guys who are working together with your doctor, decided you wanted to go off the antidepressants, blah, blah, blah. Once you have had your last pill, okay, it will most probably take about 2 to 3 weeks before your receptors have down-regulated enough that a natural product will work for you, okay? So for those people who are on antidepressants, this ain't can do nothing, okay? Your receptors are so up-regulated and need such a high dose of happiness that a natural product is going to do nothing for you. But specifically for those people who are not on antidepressants, okay? If you guys are prone to panic attacks and it's something that's part of your life, okay, this is a product you have to carry with you all the time. It's not going to make you sleepy. Now, depending on how big you are, okay, I wouldn't take 2, okay, because it does relax you enough that I'm not sure if it's not giving you impaired driving, but it will definitely calm you and relax you enough that you are tired, okay? So I'm not sure for purpose. I don't think for me, I wouldn't take 2 if I drive. If I drive, I'll take 1, and then an hour later I can take another one if I need to. But I will not take 2 if I'm going to drive somewhere. If I'm home, however, usually 1 works for me, and if it doesn't, then I will take 2. I've never needed 2. Johan just takes 2 right from the word go, but I mean, he's huge. Okay, I weigh 130, he weighs 230. So he takes 2 of these, and they're fine. He can drive, you know, by having 2 of these or whatever. But literally, people, it calms everything in your body down to the point of, like, you just feel relaxed, okay? So this is one product, and I'm at 16 minutes. So much for my supplementation video. This is just one supplement, okay? So anyway, I wanted to give you guys all the detail about the L-theanine for you guys who need it, you know, as an alternative. Try it for those people. I mean, there's so many people that have issues that never talk about it, you know. It's like everybody's ashamed of being depressed. It's like this stigma, like to an alcoholic, you know, oh my God, he's an alcoholic, he's out of control, don't mingle with that person, okay? I have many alcoholic friends, okay? I've even been to AA meetings with my friends. Who cares? I don't care. If they need my support, I give them my support. I don't care what if you think I don't care. So I have alcoholic friends. I have many friends that are on antidepressants. I've had a gazillion. I swear to God, out of the 3,500 subscribers I have at the moment, I can pretty much tell you 1,000 of them at least, okay, have contacted me about depression and asked me questions and how they feel and how they struggle. It usually starts out with the exercises. They're like, oh my God, I can't get myself this. And then you talk to them a little bit further and then you find out, okay, the depression is what's causing them not to exercise. And it's this whole circle of, I can't exercise because I'm depressed, but you have to exercise to get rid of the depression, you know, and it's like, oh my God, to just, and I mean, it's so bad. Depression is it's a real disease, okay? And it's not a mental illness, people, okay? You're not a lunatic if you're depressed. I mean, there's a whole lot more people that have depression because look at life. You know, when you're a child, you have this life to look forward to. This is how friggin' pessimistic I am, okay? I got to tell you guys this quickly, and I'm at 17 minutes again. When my daughter went for her, when we did her graduation or whatever, you know, the people, this is me compared to the whole rest of the bloody nation, okay? All the parents are there grouped together. Everybody's dressed beautifully. I have pictures on my Facebook with my daughter, and my daughter looked so gorgeous. I have the most beautiful daughter on earth. I mean, you know, I know everybody thinks their daughter is the most beautiful, but my daughter is really, truly beautiful to me, okay? And she was standing there, and everybody was walking down, you know, the aisle, and then they go up and they get their little thingy and their little hat, you know, flip the thingy and do their little thing, right? And I was watching all the parents there, and everybody was like happy, you know, and wow, and oh, you graduate, you're a big person now, and you're a grown up now, and you're going to go in life, and your whole life is ahead of you. And yes, I do feel those things, but here I am, okay, the only moron of a mother, okay, sitting in the audience thinking, oh my God, now you have to challenge, now you have to face life. And life sucks. Being a grown-up sucks, you know. I always used to tell my children, don't be in a hurry to grow up. It's not all it's, you know, yes, you get freedoms that you don't get at home. You have to, you know, you can stay up until you're 12 or 2 or 3 in the morning, whereas when you live in my house, you have to go, you have a bedtime, you know, there's all these rules. I said, when you're grown up, yes, those rules are out the door. However, that doesn't make your life easier. I mean, to face life is 10 times harder. So here I am, everybody else is sitting there in the audience, oh my God, my child is grown up, and I did such a good job, and blah, 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 and I'm just crying thinking, oh my God, all these poor children now have to actually face life. That's what the asshole I am. I'm just thinking, oh my God, now life is going to be hard. I can't protect my child anymore. You know, whatever she's going to do, she's going to do. Whatever she's going to become, she's going to become. She's going to have all these disappointments, you know. I mean, good things are going to happen too, obviously, but you face it. I mean, life is hard. If you're a grown-up, you have bills to pay. You have worries all of a sudden that you never had before, you know. You live on your own, you start working, and all of a sudden you think, oh my God, you know, I have like a $600 paycheck. You know, when you lived in your mother's house, you could spend all that money on makeup and clothes and, you know, whatever, and maybe give your mom $50 for rent. But if you actually move out of your parents' house, they can't protect you anymore. Your whole salary, all of a sudden, that $600 is not so much anymore. You know, you're paying your rent, you're paying your electricity, your internet, your gas, your insurance, and then all of a sudden your $600 is gone and you haven't even bought yourself a lipstick. Okay? And that's another reason to get bloody well depressed, because the body, you know, if you give and give and give and give and you never get any intake or something at the end of the day, something to satisfy you and make you happy, then, you know, your little reptilian brain gets unhappy and that's how depression sets in. So anyway, that's my little spiel at the end of the video. Girls and guys, I hope you have a good day. I'll continue on with the supplementation, and if I don't get too exhausted about talking, I will maybe get into my Holy Grail other skin products that everybody's waiting for. Have a good day. Bye-bye.